Hello and welcome to Car and Bike, a brand new day and a brand new motorcycle. Meet the all-new KTM 390 Adventure. Yes, it's completely ground up all-new adventure motorcycle. We're riding it in Goa and we'll tell you all about it. How does it ride? What's different? And how is it on the highway and how is it off-road? But before that, please do like the Car and Bike channel. If you haven't yet, hit that bell icon so that you get notified every time we ride an interesting bike or drive an interesting car and tell you all about it. So let's get down to take a close look at the new 390 Adventure, shall we? So yes, that's how it looks. The new 390 Adventure looks quite purposeful, looks quite big and muscular, and completely new design language of this latest generation 390 Adventure. That's because the design is inspired by KTM's 450 Rally Dakar bikes. So you get a tall windscreen, vertically stacked headlights, and this beaky fender. Now this one, some of you may notice that it doesn't get too much protection there, but KTM India tells us that there will be a monsoon kit available as an accessory, which will have more protection for splashes and the like. But that's how it looks, and in my opinion, this looks quite purposeful, quite nice, quite big, and for a 390 Adventure, this looks like a proper full-size adventure bike, doesn't it? What are your thoughts about this motorcycle? Let us know in the comments.
The graphics on the bodywork are not stickers and are molded onto the bodywork to avoid scratches in case of any falls while riding off-road. Very unique, and the colors are molded into the bodywork. The strong bash plate is standard, and with 237mm of ground clearance, the new 390 Adventure has a solid ADV stance. On the new model, the sprocket sizes have been changed to 14 front and 46 rear compared to the 1545 sizing on a previous generation model, and this improves engine tractability at lower revs. There's a bigger airbox which has been repositioned, and fuel tank capacity is 14.5 liters with curb weight of 182 kg.
So KTM says this is the most off-road capable adventure bike in its segment. So what does it get? Design, of course, inspired by KTM's Dakar bikes. Now it gets a 21-inch front wheel and it gets tubeless spoke wheels. Now these are not the cross-spoke tubeless wheels that you see in many bikes. This is KTM's patented wheels. So the spoke design looks like the normal bikes, but these are spoke tubeless wheels, so tires are tubeless. Long travel suspension up front, fully adjustable. It gets compression and rebound damping at the front with 200 mm of suspension travel. At the rear also you get preload adjustability and rebound damping adjustability with 205 mm of travel. Seat height is 830 mm, but the profile of the seat is narrow, and for my height it's absolutely fine. I'm 5 feet 9 inches tall. I think for anyone above 5 feet 6 or 5 feet 7 shouldn't be a problem straddling this bike. And ground clearance, as you can see, 237mm. That's a lot of ground clearance and should do a fair bit of off-road riding. Now you get this knuckle guards which are standard. There's quite a strong bash plate here which is also standard. You don't have to buy all those things separately. So in addition to lean sensitive traction control and ABS, you also get ride modes, 3 ride modes. Of course, you'll get off-road ride modes and rain and street. Now, off-road riding mode, you can further customize. You can choose to have the ABS in off-road or road mode. Road mode will have ABS in both the wheels. Off-road mode, the rear ABS will be switched off. Then you can choose to switch off the traction control. You can choose to keep the quick shifter on, and throttle response only in off-road mode you can further customize. The maps you can change to off-road, rain or street depending on how much throttle response you want. So quite a well kitted out motorcycle. This is a 390 Adventure and looks quite purposeful, got a tall stance. What are your thoughts about the electronics? What are your thoughts about the features? What are your thoughts about the design? Do let us know in the comments. Time to hit the road, ride, and let you know how to ride on the highway first before we get to the off-road riding bit.
What's immediately apparent on the 2025 KTM 390 Adventure is the urgent nature of the 399cc engine. Features like the standard quick shifter as well as cornering, traction control and ABS offer convenience and safety. And for longer journeys, There's standard cruise control as well. The bigger engine is 1 kilogram lighter than the previous generation model, and there's more power, more torque. But more importantly, it's a lot more tractable at low and mid revs. New service intervals offer an initial oil change at 1000 kilometers and subsequent services at every 10,000 kilometers. The underbelly exhaust design is said to have saved 2 kilograms by eliminating the end muffler.
Now, one feature of the KTM 390 Adventure which has had a lot of discussion, a lot of questions for us is the underbelly exhaust on an adventure motorcycle. Now, KTM tells us that this has been vigorously tested, so no problems in water wading capabilities because of the underbelly exhaust, and claimed is 400 mm water wading capability, but it has been so vigorously tested that up to the crash guard of water wading capability, no problems with the exhaust design. The baffles, the internals have been designed to go through water, so that's what we've been assured of. So in case you have that question, so that should answer it. No problems is what KTM said. It has been tested over and over again, and up till here in water this has been tested, so that should probably reassure you if you have that question.
Going off-road is where a new 390 Adventure truly shines. From technical low-speed crawling to fast runs on loose surfaces, its lightweight and agility is impressive. And then there's a tractable engine with crisp throttle response, which makes it extremely enjoyable and entertaining while riding off-road.
So most of you will be using it primarily for touring, the new 390 Adventure. So let's talk about the on-road performance and handling. I think for me the biggest takeaway of the new 390 Adventure is the engine and its low and mid-range tractability. If the last gen 390 Adventure had peaky power delivery, you always had to be on the boil. This one has got very good tractability, low and mid-range quite good. In fact, 3000 RPM onwards, it pulls like really nicely. And performance, of course, it's got enough and more performance to keep you happy. 130, 140 you can easily reach, not advisable. But yeah, there are some vibes. It is a single cylinder engine. There will be some buzz. You'll feel some buzz on the foot pegs, particularly around 6000 RPM when you'll be sitting at around 100 kmph on the highway. So around that there's some buzz, but not alarming buzz. It doesn't feel like it's rattly or anything. It's the character of the engine, and yeah, so it's not like the engine is very rattly or trashy. There is some buzz, but not alarming, not something to complain about. And again, I'd reiterate that the best thing about this is the low and mid-range tractability. Superb. So huge change from the last gen KTM 390, and the suspension soaks up all kinds of bumps very nicely. And some of you would think the brakes, axial calipers are not great. You think radially mounted calipers, but this is primarily meant for, both off-road capability and on-road cruising. So KTM decided to put axially mounted calipers, but it's got sintered pads, so decent stopping power. I wouldn't say the brakes felt lacking in bite or progression. So, and it's got long travel suspension. There is some dive when you brake hard, but overall great on-road and off-road. 830 mm seat height. My height is 5 feet 9 inches. I'll just show you how I straddle the bike. I can flat foot both sides. So the seat is narrow up front, so no problems there whatsoever. And it's not very heavy also, 182 kg curb weight. So it's easy to handle even in off-road situations. And if the last gen KTM, the suspension bottomed out, this suspension can take all kinds of stuff that you would probably think of while doing off-road. So superb there. And the off-road mode with those 3 engine maps, very good. Throttle is very crisp. And of course, on the 3 maps, street, rain and off-road. Street and rain, the engine map, the throttle response is dialed down, but above 5500 RPM, which is beyond 90-95 kilometers per hour, the throttle response is same. So even if you're in rain mode, at high speeds, the throttle response will be the same. And great bike overall, having a lots of fun riding this. Compared to the last gen KTM 390 Adventure, this is a sea change, completely improved, completely updated motorcycle. If you are into adventure touring, you are into some off-road riding, you can do off-road riding on it, you can go long distance touring on it. That tall windscreen gives you a lot of protection from the wind, so you can do long distances, no problem whatsoever. So whether you're touring or doing off-road stuff, 390 Adventure, take a test ride. This could really satisfy all your adventure needs, so to speak. Great bike overall.
Priced at 3,67,000 rupees 699 ex-showroom, the 2025 KTM 390 Adventure offers impressive all-round capability at a value that is difficult to ignore. In fact, this is probably the best adventure bike you can think of right now, even considering other rivals a segment or two higher with bigger engines and more performance.
So time to answer the final question, how is the new KTM 390 Adventure and should you even consider it? Now as a product, in my book, this is possibly one of the best adventure bikes that you can buy right now, this side of 5 lakh rupees. It's got great touring capabilities, superb off-road capability, and there's one small thing which I quite like. There are many adventure bikes, you switch off the traction control, switch off ABS, go into off-road mode, switch off the key. Once you turn back on, if you forget, then traction control is again on. This stays whatever you put. Even if you switch it off, your ABS will remain off, your traction control will remain off. So that's a small thing, but that's a really helpful thing in case you forget when you're riding off-road. So for the price, I think this is a great adventure bike for anyone looking for an adventure bike this side of 5 lakh. This should be in the top 3 considerations right now amongst all the adventure bikes available right now. So superb adventure bikes and great value for money. And there could be one more question you have in mind about the future of KTM. In fact, KTM India has told us nothing to worry about it. It's just a matter of how and when, not if, all those problems will be sorted. So KTM is likely to stay here for some time, and this bike really ups that ADV game in that segment. And personally, I've had a big adventure bike. I think with this kind of weight, 182 kg curb weight, with that kind of suspension travel, with that kind of ground clearance, with 45, 46 bhp of power, that's more than enough for all your needs really. So really impressive. Superb motorcycle. Take a test ride. This could be just the ADV for you.